Now, Dan, you wrote a story on A1 today about the potential Game 6 conflict at Verizon Center. If this series goes to 6 games, which it may well do, obviously, in either way, really, at this point, Lady Gaga concert. What did you learn from reaching out and finding the little monsters who are the followers of Lady Gaga through your reporting?
I learned so much about Lady Gaga and her fans. And also, how about this? A lot of Lady Gaga fans are now rooting for the Washington Wizards because they want the series to get over as quickly as possible. Kind of strange bedfellows there. You know, I don't know that this would have been as big of an issue if Lady Gaga did not have such a passionate following, maybe nationally, but especially in this area. And also if her concert here last February hadn't been canceled because she was suffering from a hip injury. Something else that I learned from reporting this. She had to cancel her last show here, so there's people who have felt like they've waited for literally for more than 12 months for the show. It was announced in December that she'd be coming back to Verizon Center, so people bought their tickets in early December. They've been looking forward to this for 5 months. They sort of figured once you have tickets to a show, that's a done deal. There's nothing to worry about. The NBA kind of ran into a little bit of a tough scenario because all of the first round series kind of went to their maximum. So many of them went all the way to 7 games, and so they set their second round schedule the way they wanted it to line up, with basically 1 Eastern Conference game and 1 Western Conference game every single day. The Wizards' turn in that rotation was May 15th. Gaga show was there, and her fans were not very happy about this and saying that, so much goodwill would be lost. They would never go to Verizon Center again. They would never cheer for the Wizards again, whatever. People were extremely dramatic about it, but I talked to a lot of the fans. This means a lot to them. This means as much to them as a Wizards Game 6 means to Wizards fans. So kind of a tough scenario, and hopefully the Wizards make it irrelevant, I guess.
It's funny because in the past couple weeks we talked about where the buzz factor was for the Wizards going into the playoffs. Right. And then, of course, they beat the Bulls in 5. And so, obviously, with the fans are sort of, getting really excited. And then they win on the road in Game 1. And now you got the whole sort of Lady Gaga factor. I mean, the buzz, the din right now has got to be about at a high point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I should say, too, that this is not completely unprecedented in the NBA. There are shows that overlap with NBA playoff games and even NBA playoff games in Game 6 and Game 7 where you don't know what's going to happen. It happened in Brooklyn last year with the Rihanna show. It happened with New Orleans in 2008, I think, with a Rush show. It happened famously with a WWE event once where then Vince McMahon followed up by, going out and, sermoning about David Stern's evils or whatever. So, I mean, it's not totally unprecedented, but I think to me, it's a little bit amusing. I think we're all having a little bit of fun with it. Yeah. But when I talk to some of these Gaga fans, this actually really does mean a lot to them. And she is an important figure in their life. And they would be very disappointed if they don't get to see her. Friday night, the next night, there's a Mystics game at Verizon Center, which is yet another wrinkle. And Gaga has shows sandwiched on either end in New York and Detroit. So, NHL teams sometimes play back-to-back. Maybe Gaga can do a back-to-back. In the interest of...
Yeah, I mean, what do they do in those other situations?
Yeah, I didn't look at the schedule for all these shows, but the bands postponed. They moved it up or moved it back a couple days to make it work out. And so, I mean, that would seem to be the most natural solution. That would seem to me like she could move it up one day, play Wednesday,
and Ted has come out and said that the Wizards game takes precedence, right?
I think it's pretty clear that the NBA is not about moving the series. I mean, the NBA set the schedule when they already knew that Gaga was booked. So they clearly did that with the expectation that...
We should try to find a Gaga Little Monster fans watch party for this series and see how hard they're sort of rooting for
There was one who was tweeting me during the game last night and said that he was praying with his mom that the Wizards would win.